Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Alright team, I need y'all to lock in once again because we got another banger. As y'all can see, we're tuning into the Zach Lowe show, and this is a 2-hour long episode, but as you can see, Spurs future, that is what we are going to be tuning into. They are going to talk a little bit about the Spurs. Now, I haven't listened to this, so I'm very excited to see what they have to say. I'd imagine they would be talking about the fit issues with Harper and Fox, because that's really what everyone's talking about, and I've said it before, like, that's nothing to really be overly concerned about. But I don't really have too much to say. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this video. Don't want to waste too much time, and I'm actually going to move myself down here so I'm not in anybody's way.
Let's do a couple of mini deep dives on some teams that we haven't talked much about as basketball teams anyway in the offseason. I want to start with the Spurs. To review, the Spurs acquired De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline for not much, have not extended him yet. He's eligible for an extension on August 2nd. Signed Luke Kornet as a backup center, traded Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley for Kelly Olynyk. We'll see if that matters for either team. Kelly Olynyk just has not been healthy and available enough the last couple of years. He adds an interesting theoretical dimension that can fit next to any of the Spurs big men. But we'll see. And, of course, they drafted Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant in the draft.
Like he said, if Kelly Olynyk is healthy, he's going to add another dimension to the Spurs, add another layer of versatility, and bring that size that we have been needing. So hopefully he's healthy. I haven't been too in tune with Kelly Olynyk news. I didn't really know what he was dealing with. I believe it was like a wrist injury or something. But other than that, I think he should be healthy. I mean, Chris Paul played 82 games here. I don't know how the Spurs could do it. Health is such a lucky thing, but hopefully luck is on our side.
I would project their starting five this way, Mr. Tequil. Fox. Castle, reigning rookie of the year. Devin Vassell. I'm going to pencil in Harrison Barnes just for the spacing shooting, and Wembanyama. That leaves me on the bench. I can obviously stagger. I think they should and will stagger Fox and Wemby, who only played 5 games together, by the way. Dude, we didn't really even get to see it. But, if you want to do a full 5-man bench, you go Harper, Bryant, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, who could start in the Harrison Barnes spot. Maybe we'll see. And then Kornet, you throw Olynyk can play the 5, or he can play with either of their 5s. I expect to see all those looks. You got Champagny still. Julian Champagny's there. I think they'll play I think they'll play minutes with Castle, Harper, and Fox all together. It's a really interesting team.
Look, don't mean to cut him off, but the starting 5 is something that I want to kind of talk about. So I liked what he said. The only thing I would disagree with is I would start Sohan over Harrison Barnes. My lineup would be Fox, Vassell, Steph Castle, Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. And I know people talk about the shooting, but we saw lineups before with Jeremy Sohan, Trey Jones, Steph Castle. And now that Steph has had an offseason to kind of work on his jump shot, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was last season. I don't think he's going to shoot under 30% again. If I had to put a percentage on it, I think he would be shooting around 33% from 3 this season. And then you also see where Jeremy Sohan's jump shot is at. We saw some videos this offseason. But the reason I would want to start Sohan over Harrison Barnes is because I like what he brings to the power forward spot. He's an enforcer on the defensive end, and the simplicity of his game, him being a roller, it complements Victor Wembanyama so well because he can do everything. And so if you have a simple power forward who's just really effective alongside the demigod alien and Wemby, I think that complements perfectly. In that defensive lineup with also adding Stephon Castle, that's going to be one of the best defenses in the league. De'Aaron Fox is no slouch on defense. Vassell's a solid team defender. And the only reason I say Vassell's not coming off the bench, which that would be my preference, I would actually like Devin Vassell to come off the bench, but he does add spacing, and I think he makes too much money to come off the bench. Now, keep in mind, Pop is not our coach, and if people were making a lot of money, they were going to start. I think if this was still Pop's team, there would be no doubt that Devin Vassell is going to be a starter, but now that Mitch Johnson is there, I don't know what he could do. I really don't know what he's thinking for the starting lineup, but if there was an odd man out to come off that bench, I would probably pick Devin Vassell, which then again, I don't know. It's because he brings a lot of shooting. I know he had a down season, but he does shoot the ball really good whenever he's on, so I think Vassell's got to start as well. Fox, Vassell, Steph Castle, Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. And then you could have a nice bench unit with Dylan Harper, Julian Champagny, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, and Luke Kornet as that backup 5. I don't know if I'm forgetting someone. Yeah, you got to have Carter Bryant in there as well. This is where the Spurs just being a stacked team is kind of messing with the lineups because you have so many good players, but I think either way they're going to stagger that bench unit, so you're going to see a bunch of players.
A little bit light on 3-point shooting in that starting 5. They need Vassell to really stay healthy and kind of put more of the pieces of his game together. His contract, which is quite a long one, looms as a very interesting variable for them, as does Keldon Johnson, who's, I believe, an unrestricted free agent after this season. Just financially, Johnson, Sochan, Vassell loom as interesting trade pieces going forward for the Spurs, either to get more flexibility or more talent. I think Vassell is the one they would like to hit the most because they just need an A-plus shooter on their team. I look at that. I zoom out of that rotation.
Harrison Barnes shot like 43%, by the way.
I recall how incredible Wemby is, and he's cleared to play. He told the French media this week that he's cleared to play, and how quick the ascension could be for him. How little we saw of Fox with Wembanyama. Fox was underwhelming as a Spur, but we didn't get to see much of it, and then he had injury issues too. I don't know what their over-under is. I didn't even check. It's too early. I would peg the Spurs as don't be surprised if they outperform expectations, and there's a bigger leap as a team here than people expect, and they butt into that like Clippers, Warriors, Lakers conversation. I look at this team. I know they got some issues. I know they're young. I know there's a lot of youth here. That makes me nervous. Like relying on Harper, Bryant. They don't have to rely on those guys a ton if they don't want to. I'm bullish on the Spurs outperforming expectations. Where do you fall?
No, I'm actually...
Before he gets into what he says, I think the Spurs are perfect at meshing two timelines. You kind of see that with the Warriors where they try to have the young guys mesh with Steph Curry in that timeline. The Timberwolves are trying to do that with Mike Conley and the Rob Dillingham core. But the Spurs, I think they have a perfect recipe and perfect formula. And now it might change because Pop's not the coach. I mean, Pop not coaching impacts everything. But I think the Spurs got a good recipe. They know how to balance winning now while also developing. And I think the Spurs trading Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley was a move to try to win now. As you saw, they brought in Kelly Olynyk. But they also have a lot of young guys who they're still trying to develop. Say what you want about Sochan. He's 22 years old, so he's still developing. But I do think all of these young players have impact to make the Spurs a win-now team. So it's going to be interesting to see that balance, but I think the Spurs will get that down. And I'm excited to see the lineups and the rotations that they're running. But Carter Bryant needs to be playing. Not 48 minutes, but he needs solid playing time. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for.
The same place as you are with them.
We did not rehearse this. I had no idea. I thought you might say, oh, Zach, you're getting ahead of your skis. You're always too optimistic about these young teams. Youth stinks, et cetera, et cetera.
No, but I think it's an important thing where I think this is them saying we have to take a leap here. Like, I think the organization themselves are tired of being a lottery team and are trying to kind of take that step forward with what they have. Obviously, the miracle of them getting the second pick, the draft lottery was wild for them.
I love Harper, by the way. I don't care that they've got to figure out how these ball dominant, so shooting guards all fit. Like, I just give me the talent, the length, the versatility. I just like, I don't know if the three of them will work. I don't know, whatever, but I love that they just made the talent play.
I like that take, but listen, we never heard anything about Steph Castle being a ball-dominant point guard or shooting guard before we got Fox and Dylan Harper. He's never been that. If anything, people were trying to mold him into a small forward, which he's not even ball dominant. I don't know where that came from. Maybe because he got a lot of usage at the end of the season, the ball was always in his hands, but he does not need the ball to be effective. He's a good screener. He's a good roller. He moves without the ball. He knows how to play without the ball. Now, don't get it wrong. If you give him the ball with the shot clock winding down, he's going to get you a bucket. He knows how to create space. And I'm sure he was working on his ball handling this season to run point guard at times. But Steph Castle could play 1 through 3, and once he gets more mature, because I think he's only like 20 years old, he's probably going to be able to play 1 through 4. As crazy as it sounds, that's how versatile he is. So I don't think he's necessarily a ball dominant guard, combo guard. I really never think he's been that because he's just always had a good off ball game. That's the only thing I have with that take.
And I think the important aspect of it too, though, is I think this team's going to be really good defensively is my feel for it. I feel like Castle's on defense. I think you're going to get Wemby, if he's healthy, having that. I love the Cornette signing. I was like...
Cornette's good. And the contract, have you seen the contract? It's partially guaranteed with team options on the back. It's crazy good contract.
It's essentially a 2-year deal, fully guaranteed. And then after that, it becomes partials. And I think that puts them in, again, the flexibility that they've kind of created for themselves in that. But I think Wemby and Cornette could play together. The theory of Olynyk, if he's healthy and can be that guy, helps them with what they do. Yes, they're light on shooting, but I think they're going to be pretty solid defensively. I know Fox has to be better on the
Olynyk, 40% shooter, by the way.
Defensive end. We have to see how Harper is defensively with the way he kind of, once he starts getting in NBA games. But I think they're going to be a fun up and down team. And that's going to be the more important thing is they have to be a tempo team. They're going to have to play fast. because I think they have the guys to play fast. And playing fast doesn't necessarily mean just scoring a ton in transition, but getting the ball up the court quickly, getting into your sets with 20 seconds left on the clock. Like, this is the thing I think teams need to take away from the Indiana Pacers playoff run, was them being able to get into their offense quicker opened up so many opportunities for them on offense. And I think one thing that everybody's kind of sleeping on, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, but Mitch Johnson having a full offseason to be the head coach and figure out a plan. Like, listen, the guy was thrown into the fire right off the bat, in November. And then it's kind of like figuring it out on the fly. He has, Brett Brown with them kind of helping him. Matt Nielsen has a whole staff that I think's solid. And I think it's just having a whole offseason to put out your plan. And people don't understand how important the offseason is for coaching staffs. You have your whole, you recharge, but you're also planning and looking at things and kind of exploring things and having conversations. Then in September, most coaching staffs go on a coach's retreat.
And they also got Sean Sweeney and the guy from the Pistons. I can't remember his name right now, but those are two great coaches. I know the Mavs really love Sean Sweeney as their head assistant. And also another aspect of it is Mitch Johnson is starting off with a roster that is very good, very deep. He has so many tools and weapons. Pop didn't really get that luxury because we all know he went out before we can even get Fox and add the number 2 pick. If this team had Greg Popovich, oh my God, man, the league would really be in trouble. But the fact that we have Mitch Johnson and he's had kind of a season under his belt, now he can kind of implement his plan, see where the team is at. Like you said, instead of being thrown into the fire, I think we're going to see a way better Mitch Johnson. He's actually one of the favorites to win Coach of the Year. That has nothing to do with basketball. It's just the betting favorites. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's in that conversation just looking at the turnaround and win percentage. I'm putting my faith in Mitch Johnson. I think he's going to do something very special, and I think he has the players bought in. Obviously, he's going to be a rookie head coach, so there's going to be some growing pains, but that is all right.
I have them in that Lakers, Golden State, Clippers sort of area. I could see them being a top 16 in the playoffs and not needing to play in. Like, that's their goal should be trying to be that. But I think this is going to be the year where we finally get some postseason Wemby.
Look, if I'm hanging my hat on 3, if I'm a Spurs optimist for next season only, let's look at next season in a vacuum, and I'm an optimist, which I obviously am currently, it's July 17th. We'll see. There's still some dust to be settled. I'm banking on 3 things. I'm banking on a lot of things, but boil it down to 3. Number 1, Wembanyama is absolutely incredible. He's a top 10 player already. I don't even know how fast the development could happen and where he will rank after next season if he stays healthy. It's frightening. Number 2, I think Fox is going to be hungry. I think he wanted to go to San Antonio. I expect him to get a deal done this summer. So he'll feel secure and wanted, no mystery, no nothing. He's heard the noise about how he was maybe not quite as good as they expected when they got him in very limited minutes with Wembanyama and all that. I think he's going to be hungry to prove that, clutch play. I don't know if he was ever clutch player of the year, but he was in the running for that, all that stuff.
I think he was.
And I think number 3, they are going to be a hard playing deep team every single game, which has a lot of value in the regular season over 82 games. Youth and effort can go a long way if you have enough talent. And then zooming further out than that, they are just loaded for bear with assets if and when they need to do something. They have extra stuff from Atlanta. They have a swap top, one protected with Boston. We'll see how that comes into play.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop it right there. But like he's saying, the Spurs have so many weapons. The team is going to be hungry. You even look at a player like Carter Bryant in Summer League, the way he was hustling, getting after it, communicating. In that last game he had like 3 threes in a row in the first quarter. I told you that shot's going to come around. The offensive upside is there. But one of the things I think the identity for this Spurs team is going to be is defense, hustle, grit. You're not going to outplay the Spurs. I think you have too many dogs on this team, competitive players. And I think we didn't have much of that last season. De'Aaron Fox is a high-level competitor. Steph Castle, he's coming back, but he is a high-level competitor. Dylan Harper, Carter Bryant, these guys they want to win and they're going to be hungry. And so I think that energy is infectious and it's going to just impact the team in an extremely positive way. So like you said, I could see the Spurs in this playoff top 6 seed. But I'm just so excited for next season, man. Y'all be sure to leave y'all's thoughts down below in the comments section. As always, be sure to leave a like, and I will be back with another banger soon. Until next time, has been your boy Chris, and I'll catch y'all later.